Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, if you are resting or if you are working or combining a little of both. I'm here, this is Celestial Morrison coming to you, bringing you video number 7, and I hope you can hear me. I've been testing out my microphone to see if it works. I changed things around. All right, this video is number 7, and you need to know that you are the winner, boss, master, beneficiary, trust protector. But most of you don't know it. You don't know this. Okay. You guys, if you want to win in this game, and remember I said in the other videos, life is not a game. But if you want to understand it a little bit better, for a moment, let's look at it as if it were a game. And you know, in a game, you have rules. You have to know the rules in order to play the game if you want to win, if winning is important to you. And let's see if winning is important to us in this world, right now in America. Let's see, to win is to be able to go to work. If you win, you'll be able to go to work. That's a good thing to win. Let's see. If you win, you'll be able to find food in the supermarket. And it'll be affordable because you'll be making enough money to be able to afford it. And it will be stocked, fully stocked, because you'll have lots of food growing in the farms and being, cut and packaged and shipped and placed in the supermarket for you to go and buy something. All right, that's being a winner. Now here's a loser. You can't go to work. Someone doesn't let you go to work. Who's not letting you go to work? Is there a real reason? Is it legitimate? Does it even apply to you? Does someone have authority to tell you not to go to work? Well, if you can't go to work because someone told you you want to work, but someone said, nope, you can't go to work. Are you being a winner or are you being a loser? How about this? If you have some money in your pocket and you really want that milk for your cereal, you go to the market and jeepers, you can't afford it because either you buy the milk for your cereal or you put that into the gas tank to go to work. Oh my goodness, are you a winner or are you a loser? All right. So how about you go to the market and you do have enough money for gas and milk, but oh my goodness, they don't have any milk in the supermarket because they got rid of the cows. There are no more cows because they toot too much and it goes into the atmosphere. And some scientists somewhere said cows are bad for the sky. When they toot, it's really bad for the sky. So someone believed it and they made a statute and said, get rid of the cows, no more cows. And so now you go to the market, you want milk for your cereal, but too bad for you, you don't have milk for your cereal. Are you a winner? Are you a loser? Okay, I am here to tell you the good news because good news always beats the bad news. If you look at the newspaper, if you get a newspaper, some people do, I do, all right, there's, for example, Epoch Times. You read Epoch Times, your favorite newspaper, it doesn't matter which one. You read, or online, you get the news. Are they giving you really good news or bad news? A lot of bad news? Okay, here is the good news, and what I'm going to tell you is going to beat the bad news. Seriously, just listen and win this game. You want to win? You want to be able to educate your kids and have your kids be the best in the world? That's a winner. Here's a loser. They go to school and they graduate and they don't have a job. Nobody hires them because they studied a job that really no one needed. Is that a winner or a loser? But see, why should you be corralled and manipulated into being losers when our government was created by the people for the benefit of the people? So if it's not benefiting you, then you have to fix it. Because if it's benefiting you, you would have best education, you'd be the best at everything. Oh my gosh, you'd have so many talents. Because God made people capable of so many things. They just need to go and experience things, and they need to, as they grow, you know, when the kids are, when they're born, they're little babies, they don't know much. You've got to input. You've got to give them a lot of information, stimulation, experiences, so they can grow and learn and be talented. Oh, look at little Johnny, he knows how to play the piano. My little Johnny, his name is Johnny too, and he can't play the piano. Does that mean my Johnny is dumber than your Johnny? Or does it mean that my Johnny didn't have piano lessons? Your Johnny did. And so Johnny that plays the piano looks smarter than my Johnny that doesn't know how to play the game, doesn't know how to play piano, right? So, see, you're smart, you're capable, but you had to have experiences, you had to have instruction, you had to be taught things. And guess what? We pay taxes to pay for schools, for teachers, for principals to educate us, right? And so we should have so many talents by now, so many talents. Your kids should be super talented, right? So, do you want to be a winner or do you want to be a loser? Okay, how about your kids? Do you want them to be winners or do you want them to be losers? It doesn't mean that they're not valuable. It just means that they keep losing this game. They keep losing the game that we're playing in America. Pretend it's a little game, and if you want your son, your daughter to win, you have to teach them the rules of the game. And I'm not talking about things like what attorneys learn. Oh, they take years to study the law. Attorneys, right? Don't they take years to study the law, and then they want to be the only ones to speak about the law, even though it's our right to speak about the law? But you guys don't know that. You've been taught differently. Why? Okay, so here it is. The attorneys have to study law, but guess what they study? They study statute law, right? We are going to study something that beats their statutes. What is it? Constitutions. We study the constitutions. Remember, if you've been watching the videos that I've been making before this, then you'll know what I'm talking about. 51 constitutions, one in every state, one in the United States. All right, District of Columbia. There are 51 constitutions. Study what? What to study? Well, study the entire thing about your state, all of it, right? And then go to every single state and study the Bills of Rights, Declarations of Rights, Rights and Privileges, and Declarations of Rights and Privileges. There are like about 4 names they give these rights, but it's still your rights. They're all your rights, and that isn't even enough. You have more than that, all right? They would have been taking up a whole library and maybe more, a building, writing up all your rights. You have so many rights. Multitude of rights. All right. So you have to know at least the beginning of your rights, some of your rights, so that you can start winning this game. Really easy. All right. Very, very easy to win this game. You are the winner already. You're the boss. You're the master. You're the beneficiary. You are the trust protector. And we're going to prove it to you with truth, with evidence. Okay. See this little guy right here? Well, this big guy, big fella here. I said because the picture was small. Let me lift it up right there. He is a winner. He had things happen to him, but he doesn't quit. You want to be a winner? Then don't quit. Okay, don't quit. He had to learn how to use these things, how to master using these legs, because his legs are gone, right? So he has these new legs. He is still there. He is a human that's important, that is valuable, that God loves, and he is still there. Just his legs, this organic machine that we have, his legs are gone from that, but he replaced them with these. That's great. And he doesn't quit. He's not a quitter. He is going, he already is a winner. He doesn't even have to finish the race to win. He could just, he's running as fast as he can. All right. Now, what I want to start off with, see, I'm going to remind you of things. So things, if they overlap the things that I've said in previous videos, if they overlap, be glad, because that means we're tying it together, right? And if I repeat something I've already said, then be glad, because repetition makes the memory permanent. The more you repeat it, the more permanent it is. So be glad if I repeat. And if I bring to you new information, then be glad, because we're moving forward. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to overlap, I'm going to repeat, and I'm going to bring new information so we can keep going and win this game. Because you know that attorneys have to take years to study the law, right? But we don't have to. Literally, there's a woman that I know, she studied for 3 months. 3 months. And she literally showed her stuff. She moved things around. Okay, you'll get into it more once you join our group. You're going to join our group because you're wise, right? Because we're going to show you evidence of everything we say, and because you like winning. You don't like losing, right? You like winning, and you want to win in every area of this life. All your life here in America. Hey, you like fishing? They have to charge you a fishing license? Well, look at the Constitution and see if they have a right to charge you for fishing, right? Because everything in America moves with paper. Okay, I'm going to show you. Like, hold on a second. Like, this is a piece of paper. I don't know if you can see this. This is a piece of paper, right? Hard cardboard paper. But I'm going to show you, in America, everything works with paper, with contracts, with words, right? If you want to get something done, like if the government creates a statute, that is a writing. They write it out, and then we can see it online, but then we can print it out. It's still a writing. Everything goes with writing. And in America, we move by rules, things that are rules, like laws, right? We do things based on the law. Now, you have to know what the law is, and which is the ultimate law, the highest law. Remember I told you, the common law is the highest law of the whole entire United States of America. Okay, so now, and remember I told you that there are some good government servants, indentured servants, and then there are some bad ones that are not very good. Okay, so now I'm talking about some naughty ones that have used similar terms and confused everything. So let's detangle all that. Let's separate all that, detangle all that. Now I'm going to overlap this and remind you of this. Remember I said that the American people, with a strong biblical heritage and strong biblical principles, got rid of and ended the power and authority of King George III. He had over them. He ruled Britain and also ruled over the American people. Okay, they abolished. See, I have the bones right here. See, look, they abolished this guy's rule. See, I put him laying down because he had to lay down and stop, and I put the Bible here. You can see that this is a picture of a Bible. I don't know if you can see that, right? Because the people who founded this country, the people who founded this nation, they were Bible readers. They walked around with their Bibles. They read the Bibles. They believed it. At least it shows that they did. But then, as believers, and I'm overlapping, I know I mentioned this before, they fought against King George because he was oppressing them. He was bothering them, all right? Overtaxing them, burdening them, and not letting them be. But do you know why they were able to beat against this King George? Okay, just think about it. It's a guy. It's just a man. And he's a king over people who tells them what to do and what not to do. He's a dude. He's just a guy. He goes to the bathroom like everybody else. He sweats like everyone else. He needs to take a shower. Oh, but He has someone to give him help him with his shower, shampoo, right? Dress him in those garments, right? But he lost. Why did he lose? Because the people who fought against him, they felt they were right. Why did they feel they were correct to fight against him? Because our ruler, our king is God. And we know that if something doesn't match what God says, it's wrong. Everything has to match what God says. And since they read their Bibles, they knew what God said. If you don't read your Bible, you won't know what God said. You won't know what God feels about things, how he, what he likes, what he hates. Because you know what? Yes, God hates. God hates evil. Hates it. All right? You read the Bible and you'll see that he hates. Oh, yes. God is a God of wrath. He's not only a God of mercy and peace and love and give me five, high five. No, he's a God of wrath. He reserves for the right moment the people that keep on putting hot coals on their head, keep doing evil. If you don't stop, you're going to get it. You better stop. They don't stop, then God has to get in there and take care of things. Oh, my doggies are biting. Oh my gosh. I think the drywall people are here. Let the kids take care of it. Because I'm going to ignore it for your sake. All right. So, yeah, ignore the barking. I know that the drywall people are here, but I gotta do this. For you, for me, for us, for your kids. You know why? I have kids, a lot of kids. And my kids are going to marry, who knows, one of your kids. And I want my kids to be happy and safe. I want your kids to be happy and safe and not be oppressed. Shh, 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 shh. Quiet, you guys. They know that I'm not supposed to be barking. That's unauthorized activity. But because there's some stranger, they go, stranger danger. Oh my gosh, hold on a second. I have to, hold on. Oh my goodness. Keep reading this while I go get it. Here, you can leave it there for a second. Yeah, leave it there. Okay, look it. I'm back. I'm in the middle of recording, but hey, I'm a hardworking mama. I love my kids. Gotta do what I gotta do, right? All right. So they're bringing the drywall. Okay. So back to this. King George III, right? So, and I can't edit it. I haven't learned how to edit yet, and I will. That's on my to-do list. Learn to do editing. So, the American Revolution is proof, right? The American Revolution, now put it right here. See, it was the people abolishing a form of government that was doing many things against the people who belonged to God. A people who remembered God. See? King George and his toy soldiers, because he used them like toys. Here, go die for me. Go kill them over there in America. They're not doing what I want. They're not giving me the taxes I want. They're not being little obedient people under me. So here, little toy soldier, go over there and die for me. That's so rotten. That's rotten, because a lot of people knew each other too from over there. They were related. They had to make a decision what side you're going to be on, because they were in the military for under the service of this king, and they had to come to America and fight with other Americans. They had to do it or else they'd be in trouble. Oh my gosh, what a horrible situation they put people to pitted against each other. But this guy did it because he wants his money. He wants his power. He wants what he wants, and he's going to get it, even if it means people killing each other. Well, that's not right. So the American people who believe in God, they know God. They know God Sometimes he goes to war, doesn't he? He goes ahead of his people in battle. He does. He's a warrior. You could think that he's not a warrior all you want to, but if you read the Bible, you'll see that he's a warrior. And he even makes the decisions of when someone's going to die, and even how they're going to die. Some guy, he was going to die with an arrow right in his armpit, right? Because he was wearing this outfit, you know him, all protected, all this gear, but it somehow got into the little crack right there between his arm and his body. Boop, got right in there, the arrow. God sent that arrow. God's a God of war, all right? War against evil, That's what he hates evil. We are supposed to hate evil too. It is a good thing to hate evil and to do something about it, because God does something about it. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. All right. So the people that believed in God, they fought with him, and you know what? They had weapons. They didn't fight with clubs and twigs, right? And forks, whatever. They had guns. They actually had rifles. And at that time, it didn't occur to the king to make them get rid of all their rifles. They tried to, right? Later, try to get it, but no. There were a lot of people who had their own weapons. They would go hunting. They would protect themselves. They would use these things. And if they didn't have that, how would they abolish the ruling? Because he was a tyrant. He was a well-dressed, very groomed, very eloquent, but a wonderful golden-gowned tyrant. Excuse me, have your tea. It's time for tea, dear. It's time for tea for the king. Well, he's still a tyrant, right? A tea-drinking tyrant. And it's wrong what he was doing, and he got his, kicked. All right. So, the reason they did it, they had weapons. They could fight them, and they didn't have training as a military. They had to get in there and fight. They had to get in there and fight and lose, willing to put their lives down to stop this evil guy from doing what he was doing, right? Remember the shot that was heard around the world? All right, get your history books out and hope they weren't tampered with, and hope that you're teaching your kids correct history. All right, so. Okay, King George and his toy soldiers were doing so much wrong against the inherent rights that God gave his people, because God gives us rights that are inherent. Remember I told you there are a variety of rights, different types of rights. Some are more permanent than others. Some can be changed and then you don't have that right. Okay, but inherent rights, they're permanent. They're stuck to you, like the skin is stuck to you. You want to peel that off and it's going to hurt. All right, so we have inherent rights, and God gave us that because he loves us. He's a God of wrath, but he's also a God of love, great love. And he loves us, and he created every human that exists on the planet Earth. He didn't want this one to hurt that one, so he gave us inherent rights. And you know what? The rights that we have, because they are inherent, they apply to everyone in the whole planet. If people in the whole planet would just understand that these rights belong to them, even if they have a king over them, oppressing them, even if they have a monarch or a tyrant, some kind of weird dudette out there doing terrible things. If people would just wake up and realize, hey, wait a minute, these are rights that we have by God, and if these people are going against our rights that God wants us to have, that means they're going against God. They're going against God. You know what God does when they go against him? He puts them down. That's what he does. That's what God does. He takes care of it, right? They're not supposed to go against God. They're supposed to give him honor because it's due to him. He's God Almighty. So, here we go. Here we go. Here is a little statue of one of the soldiers, the Minutemen. He's a Minuteman, and he was out there taking care of stuff. Look at his wife. What is he holding in his hand? Look at what he's holding in his hand. He's holding a weapon, the best they had during that time that he could afford to get. That's the weapon he has. And that's why, because people like him who fought for what is right and good, that's why we have freedoms. We have freedoms because you have to defend freedoms. Somebody wants to come in and take them away. All the time there's someone trying to take them away. You have to defend them. You have to, or you lose them. Or if somebody wants to then hide them from you and not teach the next generation, keep you really busy with the entertainment, with singers and movie stars and flashing lights. They keep you dangling the little toy. Remember how you trick little kids? Look over here, smile over here for the picture. And the little kid stops crying and smiles for, look, it's a little rabbit over there, and smiles at their little rabbit for a picture. Well, that's what they did to adults. They kept us busy looking at the movie stars, Frank Sinatra, Marilyn Monroe, all these movie stars, la la la. We're all, hey, looking at the movie stars. And we were having so much fun, but we forgot to continue learning our rights so we could defend them, and we could pass it on to our children so they will be defended. So they'll have their rights intact. If they don't know they have rights, how are they going to even defend their rights? They don't even know they have a right to have a right. All right, so I put here, let me see if I will put it right here. Let me copy it. Copy, paste right there. See, they're delivering I'll put it right here. This is a definition, Black's Law 5th, and I just want you to know the word abolish is going to come up in the constitutions. You're going to read the word abolish there, so you might as well know what it is, what it says. All right, now, I'm so sorry. Black's Law Dictionary has 11 editions, and you have to be careful now because I don't know who is managing over there, if you manage people, you have to really see what they're doing, if they're doing it correctly or not. I don't know. Sometimes they don't define everything so well, but we'll work with what we have right now. Okay, so let's see. But abolish is pretty clear what it means. It means to do away with wholly. That's completely, right? To do away with it. See, they were abolishing the form of government with the American Revolution. That's proof that we are capable of abolishing something. They can annul, repeal, rescind, to abrogate, to dispense with, and I highlighted, put an end to. So if we decide as a people, we do have the right to alter, reform, or abolish our governments whenever we deem it necessary for our happiness and safety, we can put an end to it. But if it's perfect, I'm not saying that it's not perfect right now. It probably, however it is, however you perceive it to be. I'm not saying for right now, I am not saying it to you right now, that this government is bad as a whole. I'm not saying that. I'm just letting you know that if our government were to become bad and naughty by going against their oath of office, if they were to be bad and naughty against our rights, and we felt that our happiness was in danger. We felt that our safety was in danger. If you're not able to work, are you safe or are you in danger of starvation and losing your home? Okay. If you feel safe, yay. If you don't feel safe, then think about it. You can do something about it called abolish. All right? You can reform too. You can alter. You can adjust it. You could do all sorts of things because so we are the creators and we are the posterity of the creators, right? The founding fathers. And now we're the beneficiaries. Okay, look. Let me see. Let me read this to you and then I'll explain. To do is put an end to, right? So you understand this is what the word abolish. So now look. Let's just say this is the contract. So they have, in every state, they have a constitution, right? One constitution. And then they have, let me get another one. Hold on a second. I'm trying to give you a visual because my kids love visuals, right? Let's just say that, okay, this is the state constitution, and then this is the United States Constitution. These two right here, these two, state constitution, United States constitutions, those two, and then they have a piece of paper. Let me get you a piece of paper. Then they have a piece of paper, and then they have their oath where they hold up their hand. Remember, they hold up their hand, and then they put their hand on the Bible. I should have had my Bible right next to me, but they didn't because I'm working in the house. Okay, so they put their hand on the Bible, right? And they swear or affirm to uphold the Constitution of the state and of the United States, right? And inside these constitutions are our bills of rights, declarations of rights, rights and privileges, declarations of rights and privileges. They're inside here written down. So if they swear to defend these, to uphold them, to support them and defend them, if they swear or affirm and bind their minds the strongest possible, and they become bound by that oath, and it happens to have, in the constitutions, it happens to have the word treason in it, that if there are two witnesses that point out to the same overt act, they're busted, they're in trouble. Okay, so inside the Constitution are our rights, and if you read them, you'll know that they already signed on the dotted line, and they are bound. Okay, so they're bound. They have to obey it. All right, so now I found well, before I can get into this, if they're given some things to do, like say, let's see, where's my 18 things? Hold on a second. I have it over here. I have 3 screens. Okay, I don't think I have it on here ready to go, because oh my goodness, I've been trying to do a lot of things. Where are my 18 things? I gotta have my 18 things. I don't see them. No, I don't see them. Darn it. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Right. Okay, look. Look. In the United States, for example, in the United States, it has the 18 things, and I know I said this before to you, but it has 18 things in it, and you can count them, just in case there are more or less, but you can count them yourself. To be sure, go to the website and count them yourself, to be sure, right? It's good to double check and triple check and quadruple check everything. Okay, like say they have, let's see, where's that to make, okay, see, like if they're going, let me see, I'm trying to look at the Navy. They have one for the Navy, but okay, so it says here, to make rules for the government and regulations of the land and naval forces. Okay, so let's just take that one. That's number 14. It says there to make rules for the government. For who? For the government. We hired them to make rules for the government. That was the 14th thing that we told them they must do. And regulation of the land and naval forces. Are you the government? Are you in the government? Are you the land or naval forces? Well, that's who they're supposed to make rules for. That's what it says right there. So let's just say they make a statute, right? Because the legislature makes statutes, and they write a statute, and it goes to the House, it passes, goes to the Senate, it passes, goes to the President, he loves it, signs it, it's a law, it's properly enacted. Okay, so then it's a statute, it's an act, right? Okay, so that's, if it's pursuant to the Constitution and it doesn't collide or work against it or is in disagreement with it, it's contrary to it, if it's not any of those things, if it's really pursuing it, following it in proper, it is about it, and it is about writing rules and regulations about the land and naval forces, then we're fine. we're fine because they did the legislation as we told them to do it. But if they start saying you can't go to work if they decide to make statute, and the statute says, since the legislators can make statutes, right? Hey, they have friends who are plastic surgeons, and then they decide, hey, I need work. Make a statute for me and send me some work over here. They make a statute that says if you want to go to work, you have to get a nose job because you need to be able to wear a certain outfit, and the nose interferes with it. All right, if you don't get a nose job, you can't go to work. Or if you don't, if you're not, if they're writing something like, okay, you can't live with your kids anymore. As soon as they're 18, you have to kick them out of the house. That's a statute. You have to kick them out of your house. As soon as they're 18, kick them out of the house. By law, you're required to do it. That's a statute. Is that anything that we told them to do? Because we gave them 18 things to do. Is that one of them? Did we tell them to make sure they regulate families and tell them what to do regarding their children? I don't see that anywhere. So if they write a statute that has nothing to do with the work we hired them to do, and do the buzzer, it's void ab initio, void from the beginning. It is like it doesn't exist. It was never there. So when they act like it exists and they start enforcing it, they're personally liable because they're acting outside of the scope of their authority, of their granted authority. We didn't authorize that. We are the bosses, like I said. We're the bosses. We're the posterity of our founding fathers. They wrote it like this. So if they write something that has nothing to do with what we hired them to do, they're acting outside the granted authority. So first of all, it has to match. It has to be in pursuance to the Constitution for it to work. And then it has to be about the things we hired them to do. If we didn't hire them to tell us, please regulate families and tell them what they should do at every stage of their own children's lives, what they are what's mandatory for them to do, or any other rule. Let's see, they cannot go to work on, when it's Thanksgiving or whatever. If everybody wanted to close that day, that's fine. But I'm saying if you're forced, if you have your own little shop, your car shop, and you have some things to do because it's, somebody really needs their car, they don't have a car and you're working for a family, whatever, you need to get that done on Thanksgiving morning. All right. They can't. Can they force you? Or do they even have authority in the listed things to even write a statute about that topic? Forget if it passes the House, the Senate, and the President. Do they even have a right to even start writing about that item if it's not in the list of things we hired them to do? And then if it is, like say if it's about the militia or something, or the Navy, or the Army, whatever we want them to do, then it has to be about that topic that we hired them to do. And then it has to be, because even then they can't make them do crazy things. They can't make, like say here, to provide and maintain a Navy. It's implied they can only do things that are literally written down in the Constitution. So like say to provide and maintain a Navy, it's written down. So now they could even imply that, okay, since it says that we are hired to provide and maintain a Navy, that is what the people hired us government servants to do. We the people decided to be indentured servants, and then some of the people did. So it's implied that I'm going to have to hire people, have managers, have trainers, tell them what uniform to wear, things like this. They can write rules and regulations all they want to regarding that. They can't tell them something outlandish like, okay, you gentlemen, since you're going to go to war, you're going to be a better man at war if you remove certain parts of your body, surgically remove certain parts of your body so their pants could fit better. And you will not be getting chafed or, get itchy. So all military men are going to go and get this surgical procedure and have these particular items removed so their pants could sit better when they're sitting there for long periods of time holding the machine gun. See, now that's crazy. That is unconstitutional. Even the things they write about, they have to be in agreement. They have to be reasonable things, and they can't clash against our constitutions. And it has to be about the topic they were hired to do. So see how there are rules. They're surrounded by rules. All the government workers are governed by rules. We the people are not governed by those rules, other than the common law, which is we can't harm someone else. We cannot harm another human, right? Except it be in defense of your own life or the life of your children. They're about to assault you. They're about to do a little more than that, a little worse things. You have a right to defend your life, right? But other than that, we're not governed by the government that we created. We created them for our benefit, for crying out loud. So I wanted you to see that, because keep that in mind, that they are to write things. Statutes are for the things we hired them to do, and statutes must be in pursuance to the constitutions. They have to be in agreement. They have to be without infringing any of the people's rights, without infringing or trespassing or encroaching, without diminishing, without harming our rights. All of them and any of them. All right. So I wanted you to read. We're going to read, prove to you. This is our favorite place to go to. Thank God these are good guys. Ballotpedia. I recommend that you go to Ballotpedia, because you will find, like I told you in the other videos, you're going to find all the constitutions there, all of them. And if you know how to look, you'll probably find the old ones too that were changed. You'll probably find them too. I need to go look into those. I have all the other ones, and I'm now beginning to look for all the original older ones with all the rights written in there, so to see how they word things, because they belong to us too. All right, so we're going to read, this one is New Jersey Constitution, paragraph 2A, because see how it has 2B down here, and it has more. All right, so I put it right here, and if you really want to see it live and in color, okay, I have it for you here, but I'm going to show it to you just so you can, let me see, 3. I'm going to bring it up really fast. Let's see, enter. Here it is. I'm going to bring it up really fast. There it is. You see that this is live. This is a website. You can look. This is an actual constitution. Look, it's right here. Look at Article 1, New Jersey Constitution, and you can click on things here. You can click on the Bills of Rights, Declarations of Rights, all this. Theirs is called Rights and Privileges. Rights and privileges. See, but they're still rights. They're still things that you own, belong to you, and you can see what they are. So you can start exercising your rights. You can start exercising, because it doesn't do you any good if you have rights and you don't use them. You don't defend them. You don't exercise them. It doesn't do you any good. You have to know what they are, where to find them, so you can show it that this is legitimate, and you show it that they already signed to defend these rights and they belong to you. Now, if they touch you against any of these things, they owe you money, baby. They owe you some money because it hurt you. If they do something to you to harm you Is it okay? You just, oh, poor you, just get over it. Go home and cry it out. Is that fair? Is that okay? They get to infringe. Now, I'm not saying that they're doing that now. Am I saying that? I'm just saying if in the future, at some point, if they were infringing, I'm not saying they're infringing right now. I'm just saying that it's up to you to determine this. Are they infringing on your rights? Are they? You figure it out. You see the rights are right here. They are right here. You know what they are. You can read them all. There are a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them. Find out what they are, and then you make a determination. You figure out, are they infringing on your rights? And was one of your rights so painful that it hurt you, and it hurt you physically, and it hurt you mentally, it hurt you, they took your property of anything. Remember, property is anything. Money, things, objects, whatever it is. Your property is your stuff. In general terms, it's your stuff. What's your stuff? Your money is your stuff. That's your kids, that's your stuff. That's your liberty interest. They're your kids, they're yours. God gave them to you. If they do anything to harm you, the government, if they do anything to harm you, you have redress of grievance. That's your right. Because you can forgive them, okay? Forgive them, I forgive you. But yeah, it's still gonna cost you because it hurt me quite a bit. I don't have a leg now because of that. I'm missing a leg now. How am I supposed to walk around? I need money to get a nice little mechanical leg or whatever I need. Oh, you took my dog and Spotty was put down and I don't have Spotty now. You owe me for that because Spotty was my little favorite dude. He kept me happy. He was so happy. He wagged his little tail. I'm telling you, they owe you money for that. They owe you money. Now, if they don't owe you money for that infringement, I would like very much if someone would prove it with evidence that they don't owe it to you. They don't owe it to us. If they take your car because you had parking tickets that you could not pay, and you know how, and you don't pay it right away, how it goes up, it triples sometimes it quadruples, I don't know, depending where you are. They raise them up, and then because now you really couldn't afford it. You couldn't afford it when it was less, and now you really can't afford it because it's more now. It's like $3,000, whatever it is. So they issue a warrant for your arrest because you were bad and you didn't pay your parking tickets. And now, while they're looking for you for your arrest, they found your car and they take your car. They put a big old thing and wait for the tow truck and they take your car. That's your property. Here, ask this magical question. Did they give you a trial by jury? Memorize these words. Trial by jury. Trial by jury. Trial by jury. Trial by jury. If they didn't give you a trial by jury, they messed up. They owe you redress of grievance. Okay? They owe you. They took your car. But if you don't want to exert your rights, then don't learn anymore. Stop right there. Don't learn anything else. But if you want to know how to do that, how to get them to give you back what they took from you without a trial by jury, then come and learn. Because no one is going to force you. I'm certainly not going to force you. My friends, they're not going to force you. We're just letting you know. We're inviting you to see. We're inviting you to learn. To know what your rights are, where they are, and how to exert them, how to exercise them, and how to correct any government wrongdoing, okay? Not that they're doing something wrong. I'm saying, like, if they ever do. I mean, not that they're doing anything right now. Who says? I didn't say they're doing something wrong right now. I didn't say that. I'm saying that if they're doing something wrong and you can decide, then do something. All right, do something. If you can't do, but you have to learn. You have to come and learn. You can't just wait for. Well, some people do. Some people. Okay, you know that some people. I hate to bring this up, but you know how there's a husband and a wife, and it just happens that maybe it's a wife beater. He beats her up. It could happen to the man too. I've seen that where a woman just beats up on the guy and treats him like doormat. whichever one treats the other one like a doormat, that's wrong. Husbands should love each other and be nice. They're never supposed to yell at each other. They're never supposed to harm each other. They're supposed to be kind and loving to each other, right? Respectful. They care. You're supposed to care to make sure that they're okay, make sure that they're happy, that everything is going well for them, listening to them, hearing them out, right? But there are some people who abuse each other. They are a wife beater or a husband beater, and then the one that's getting beat up, they're like a doormat. They don't know how to even say, oh, please stop, don't hurt me, don't hit me in the head, oh, don't knock my teeth out. And that's, or ow, 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 and then that's it. They're back. They still hang around that. They never separate. They're still hanging out together. They put up with it. Oh, it's better than being alone. Oh, it's better than being alone. Or what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? I have to put up with this. Well, yeah, you can do something. You can do something. And if your government behaves as like a husband, like a wife beater, if they start beating up on your rights, see, they were hired to defend, protect you, and protect your rights. And if it turns out, if they happen to be the ones actually hurting you, that's not right. You have to learn how to stop that. You have to learn how to do it, and you have to know that the law is on your side. It is not on their side. In this game, we have it to win. They have it to lose. They have to stay in line, or you can get them bigly. They have to stick to the letter of everything that's on here. Let me see this. Let me see this thingy right here. Hold on. I hope I didn't turn it off. No, I didn't turn it off. I'm just checking because sometimes I click on buttons. I'm learning how to do a lot of things, because we have to learn not only the law and where to find it and how to explain it and everything. We have to know technology. We're going to be technology masters. I'm learning a lot. Okay, so they have to stick to the letter of the letter, and they can only derive that. They say, oh, it's implied that we're supposed to do this. They can only based on that, those written words. If it is not written, they do not have it. If it is not written down, specifically granting to them that power, that authority from us, if it is not written, they don't have it. If we didn't say, you can tell us what to put on our heads or faces or ears or whatever, or feet, if we the people did not grant them that authority, whenever you feel the need to do it, you can tell us what to wear by law, by statute. If it's not written down in our constitutions that they can do that, it is not there. That means they don't have it. And if they pretend to have it, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. And you know what else? They're in maladministration when they write statutes, and between all of them, listen how many are there. Between every single one of them, they cannot see and identify that the statute is unconstitutional. They cannot think with all their powerful minds, with attorneys by the bushels. I mean, put them there are so many attorneys working there with big old brains the size of, I don't know, bigger than a basketball. Big old basketball heads of brains, right? And none of them can decipher whether a statute is constitutional or not. I mean, I understand us not knowing it because no one taught us. We didn't go to law school for 4 years and plus, but they did, and they're highly educated. How is it that between all of them, putting their minds together, none of them can recognize, oh, that statute is not constitutional. Do something quick because otherwise we're harming the people, and that's treasonous activity. Between none of them, they cannot recognize that something is not constitutional. And agencies that are behaving to harm the people, that is unconstitutional, because the whole reason why we have a government is to benefit us. And if it is not beneficial to us that we get our cars taken away, that we get tickets galore, that we're not allowed to go to work, that we can't do this and can't do that, and don't let us, we can't fish for fish when we like fish because we're on a diet, and a fish helps us get, slender and stuff. We need a license so we can fish. Oh my goodness, I can't fish today, I'm hungry. There's a fish right there swimming and I want to eat it. I can't because I don't have a license to fish. My tummy's grumbling, guys, and I need a license or they're going to give me a ticket. Is that constitutional? And all of you who have paid licenses for things, if it was not granted in our constitutions, and if we did not say, we, the people, want you, the government, almost slaves, indentured servants, to make us lose our money by forcing us to pay licenses for the rights we already have by God. We want you to oppress us because we're fools, because we fought with this king and we didn't have enough bloody noses. We want you to continue and give us more bloody noses. And even our children, we want you to give them bloody noses. We want you to put your foot on their faces so hard that they're going to walk around like this every day to school, like this, with a footprint. They're going to walk with a footprint on of the government's boots on their faces. Okay, kids, get in. Let's go to school. It's time to go to school. Okay, I'm going to have the footprint of the boot the government gave me on my face. Here goes the footprint on my face. You guys have rights. You guys have rights, but you got to know where to find them. You have to know how to use them. And we can help you with the truth. We're only gonna deal with the truth because it's all evidence. And I want you to ask them everything that I'm saying. I want you to, if you have a buddy that's an attorney, ask them, is this true? Is this true that the government is not allowed to write statutes that are unconstitutional, and it's already proven that there have been statutes that are unconstitutional and they have been addressed, and there are still others that have not been addressed and removed, so the people will not be harmed? Hey, attorney, is that true? Yes or no? Since you studied the law for many years and you're super smart, can you please, you can ask them, is it true? Do people have all political power over the government? Can they alter, reform, and abolish the government anytime, whenever they see that their happiness and safety is in danger? Ask them if it's true. But don't let the answer just go, oh, no, that's not true, that's not true. Don't be satisfied with, oh, no, that's not true. Okay, really? Show me the evidence where it said, where it's not true. Prove it. Everything with proof, right? They even have a whole study, a whole class, everything about evidence, admissible evidence. What is admissible? What is not admissible? Hearsay, this, whatever. They deal with proofs and evidence and things. Ask them if this is to prove it to you that I'm lying. Maybe they'll tell you that I'm lying, but they got to show you. Maybe they'll tell you maybe you'll be embarrassed and say, nah, that it's the truth. It's the truth. New Jersey constitutional Constitution, Article 1, Rights and Privileges, it says here that all political power is inherent in the people. Government is instituted for the protection, security, and benefit of the people. Of the people, not of the government. Of the people, not of the government. And they, the people, have the right at all times to alter, reform the same whenever the public good may require it. Okay, all political power is inherent in the people. Government is instituted for the protection, security, and benefit of the people, and they have the right at all times to alter or reform the same whenever the public good may require it. Now ask the attorney if this is true or if it is not true. Ask the government indentured servant if this is true or if this is not true. The government servant did their oath. They took and subscribed their oath to this. This is one of the items in there. This is one of the items they swore affirm to support and defend. So ask them. This is just, are these just words just like for like a Halloween party? They're just stories for, this is not real? Is this real? These are real, you guys. These are real terms in the contract. These are real terms in the contract that they have to obey. All right? They have to do this. Oh my gosh, you guys. You see this? You guys get excited. Why should you get excited? Because this is the maxims of law. Big deal. What's the big deal of maxims of law? What's up with that? Maxims of law. What do you want me to know about that? Okay, I'm going to tell you why this is important to you. Maxims of Law was written by Koch, a guy named Koch. I'm going to get his full name in a minute. Okay, it was, and then it was compiled and it was put together. He's a sir, I believe it's Sir Edward Koch. Okay, so then Charles, this guy named Charles A. Wiseman, he compiled it. That means he got them from wherever they were, put them together in this book. It's a really skinny book. All right. And I know I showed it to you before. I know I showed it to you before, but I'm going to show it to you again. Don't hate me, okay? Just see it for yourself. There. That's the book. I'm proving to you that I have the book. That's what I showed it to you, just to prove that I have the book. And yes, in order to buy the book, that means I cannot buy other things that I want. I cannot buy a chapstick. I cannot buy maybe a rouge that I like, or a little earrings, a set of earrings, whatever. Maybe I can buy some socks. I don't know. Thing is, this is important. You got to buy this. You want to win? Do you really want to win? If you really want to win, you have to buy this, because you have to make sure that it's correct. Because sometimes if you just get it off the internet or whatever, the letters might be wrong or whatever. You have to fix a bunch of things. Yeah, just be careful. Be careful. Be careful. Just double check and triple check and quadruple check. And this, I mean, it's all in here. You can check it. So have it, because that's the rules of the game, you guys. You're gonna win. You're already winners, but you just don't know it. You gotta snap out of it and get in there and win. Okay, here goes. Maxims of Law. I'm gonna read why you should buy it, why it's important, and what better way to say it than to read the preface, the preface, the preface. Okay, so I'm gonna read the preface, and you tell me if it's worth it. You tell me if see, the attorneys use it, judges use this, and guess what? When it's used, when this is used, any of these maxims are used, you get to win. You get to win on that argument. You get to win. See? You present, just, you guys, I know the teenagers, oh my gosh, teach this to your teenagers, because they're so fast at learning. they're going to want to play this game and get their stuff back. Anything that they have been infringed on you or help you with how to get stuff back, they're going to help you because they're so smart, right? They just need input. They're very powerful machines. They're organic, their brain, everything is, but they need input. And that's we've been cheated in schools. No one is putting the input into our kids, the correct, effective, quality input. They're not given that. They're given busy work, busy. Color this forever. You're in the whatever 10th grade and you're still coloring. Okay, no. You have to teach the kids exactly what they need to know. You have to give them lists of what to memorize. Memorize this. I'm going to test you on this. Now, you have to know generally. You give them the little essay, whatever, to see they know generally. But this, you have to keep you have to memorize this, and you got to refresh this. Don't let go of it. They need to know this. You guys, get it for your kids. Read it together. It's really skinny. It's really super skinny. Look at this thing. The rules of the game, where you don't get to lose your house in bankruptcy, or you don't get to be just losing your property any old silly way. Look, everything. I know nothing, but I'm learning a lot, and I'll tell you later who I learned it from. I didn't know that they weren't supposed to take my stuff without a trial by jury. Well, I'm going to get all my stuff back. Yes, and you, if they took your stuff, you can get your stuff back. Because it was yours. You worked for it. It's yours. All right. Now, you make sure you didn't steal it from someone and then it was yours. And then they took it. Don't do that. You worked for it. You sweated for it. You got up in the morning for it. You worked and worked and worked and wore old shoes so you can afford to have your stuff. And then they took it? Now, how's that fair? Well, in America, we play the game where if they take it without trial by jury, the rule is you get to have it back. But they didn't use trial by jury, they did it wrong, you get to have it back. Redress of grievances. All right? Seriously, come and find out. Here, the preface. In law, as with any science, because everything, you have to, it's all science, it's all learning. That's what science. There exists certain fundamental principles which form its basis and to which reference must be frequently made in its application. So in law, there are fundamental principles, right? Remember in the constitutions, they say frequent recurrence to fundamental principles. Ta-da! We found the principles. We know what they are. We have the pieces of the game. We know what to do now. These are the rules of the game. Okay, there are definitely some more, but these are plenty. Because remember, in England, they have a king, and they had other rules and they had other things. So theirs is all tainted because they're based on some guy or gal ruling the people. Ooh, it gives me the willies. Anyway, jitters, or whatever. Ugh. Yikes. Here in America, we don't have a king except we have God. That's our king. That's our almighty king. And we are kings of ourselves. That's why God is the King of kings and Lord of lords. He is our king, and we answer to him, and we better listen to what he says, because he is the ultimate boss with almighty power. All right, so that's our king. We're not a human king that oppresses and does whatever he wants with your life. Puts you in prison if he so feels, if you frowned at him, looked at him funny, didn't like you. So in law, we have fundamental principles, and these are it. They form, see, which form its basis and to which reference must be frequently made in its application to apply the law. These fundamental principles in law are referred to as maxims of law. Here he is. This is another guy. Sir William Blackstone says they are somewhat, in an open quote, somewhat like axioms in geometry, close quote. That's what he had to say about it. certain maxims of law have prevailed throughout recorded history. They can be found in the Old English common law. So here, number the places where you can find these. The Old English common law. And remember, it has to be the kind of thing that has no king to it. It's not about a king, and that it wouldn't apply to us because we don't have a human earthly king, other than Jesus, of course. Jesus was human and both human and God. But here, regular folks out here that are not Jesus. So certain maxims of law have prevailed throughout recorded history. They can be found in the Old English common law. In the ancient Roman law, that's what it says. I guess they must have some maxims in there that they use, because remember, they also like to have rules for the citizens of Rome, and they had rights. The citizens of Rome had rights, so they had maxims that they had to go by. That's the second one, and can be found in the Bible. For all you guys who don't believe in God, I'm sorry. But the ones that believe in God, you guys, it's in the Bible. They can be found in the Bible. Their maxims, their principles. You can see them in there, in the Bible. Okay, and the more you know the Bible, the easier it will be for you to find them. All right, so the Bible as well. These maxims of law are so manifestly founded. Listen to this. They're so manifestly founded on reason, necessity, and divine precepts. See, they're divine precepts. That's in the Bible. And they're with reason. They're reasonable. They're reasonable. They make sense. They're seen by everyone as being correct and right. They're right. That's what a maxim is. See, and necessity. This necessitates. If this, then this. If this, then this. That's a necessity. It goes together, right? And they have been universally accepted as being true rules and principles of law. Universally is the whole planet Earth. So now, in America, we haven't been using these principles because we didn't even know they existed. Oh, for goodness, they never taught us this. I'm so unhappy with the school system. I'm more than unhappy. It needs to be addressed because they're not serving the people. They're not benefiting the people. It's a detriment to the students, to the American people. They are not teaching us the exact thing we must know to be safe, to be happy. The exact thing that we must know. They're not teaching that. This is so important. They must teach that. These are true rules and principles of law, and they have been universally accepted. That means these apply anywhere, even when where there is a tyrant. They still apply there, but the tyrant is suppressing them. He's stopping them, stopping the people from exercising those rights. They exist. If people only realized together that these rights exist no matter where we are standing in whatever country, because we're human, because we're created by God, and God likes this human to be nice to that human. That's what he likes. So these apply everywhere, except we have the benefit that we have them written down so that we can show it, so we can prove it and discuss it, right? And we still, thank God, we still have a way to even talk about it, because if you notice, the right to free speech, that is being, now that I can say, because do you not see that the free speech is being curtailed? Ooh, you can't say this. Ooh, you can't say that. We have freedom of speech. It's our right to speak up, right? No gag orders. Gag orders are for those, if they did nothing wrong, why would it be bad for you to talk about it? Because they're hiding something? Is that the reason? Is it because they're hiding something that they put a gag order? Huh. You figure it out. All right, so they thus have become a part of the general customs and common law of the land. See, now this is common law of the land. That's the ultimate, you guys. When they say in the United States the law of the land, that is true for the 18 things. That it's the law of the land regarding the 18 things we hired them to do. All right? Okay. So if it's anything else, that's the common law. That's the highest. That's the highest. The biblical principles, that's the highest. That's the highest. See? Now, in describing the established maxims of law, Sir Edward Coke, yep, I was right, his name is Sir Edward Coke, a leading English authority on the law, stated as follows, open quote, a maxim is so called because its dignity is chiefest and its authority the most certain, and because it is universally approved by all, close quote. Okay, that's what a maxim is, because it's the chiefest means it's the greatest, it's the highest, it's above all, right, of regarding these things, and it's the most certain. Like they test it and check it, and every time, like a scientist, it comes out correct. It's correct. It's true. This is correct. A correct statement. All right. Perhaps the most renowned work on law is Coke's 4 Institutes. We need to read those, you guys. The 4 Institutes, in which Coke supported his legal dissertations with maxims of law. So he used maxims of law, and he, wow, knocked their socks off, right? They couldn't argue with that. Not like this. How can you argue with that? Dr. Okay, so now, let's see. Thomas Jefferson wrote to Dr. Thomas Cooper regarding law and Coke's Institutes, stating the following, open quote, this work is executed with so much learning and judgment that I do not recollect a single position in it has ever been judicially denied. It may still be considered as the fundamental code of the English law, close quote. So he's talking about the 4 Institutes, and he's excited about it. He's very amazed by it. This work is executed with so much learning. Smart. That's so much learning. That's smartness, like reasonable smartness with reason in it. Not just waving, rationality. And judgment, proper judgment, that I do not recollect a single position in it has ever been judicially denied. Because how can they argue with that when it's already universally accepted? It's universally accepted as true and correct and good. It may still be considered as the fundamental code. See, there it is. That's the fundamental principles. In a letter to Darby Terrell, Esquire, in 1821, Jefferson made this recommendation. Open quote. You mentioned to me your intention of studying the law, and asked my opinion as to the sufficient course of reading. First, begin with Coke's 4 Institutes. Close quote. See? Even he's recommending that he reads the 4 Institutes. First, do that first. Before you do anything else, do that first, because now you're starting with the correct thinking. You know that can you ask the law students, are they being taught? Because see, why would only constitutional attorneys study the Constitution? What in the world is that about? When every single one that studies the law should study the highest law of all, the whole United States of America, so they know that they're not infringing on the people's rights. How are they going to know that if they don't study that? Why should there be only a few constitutional attorneys? The rest are not constitutional. If they're not constitutional, then what the heck are they doing here? They're not constitutional, then they're not constitutional. If they're not constitutional, what are they doing? Touching the rights of the people. What are they doing? Supposedly defending the people, being hired by the people. Here, hire me, I will defend your rights. I'll go out to bat for you. I'll fight for you. Hire me. A $5,000 retainer, please. $400, $500, $1,000 an hour, please. It's gonna go fast because I'm gonna sit there and talk with my buddies. Hello, how's it going over there in Hawaii? Man, I gotta get out there. I'm packing already. I have the maid over there packing my stuff. I'll be out there to join you soon. Oh, let me go here. Let me build this, because they'll never check. They'll never check if I'm really talking about the business of the client or talking to you. So let me bill it to them. Check. I don't know. Are some people doing that? Are some attorneys doing that? Do you know? Are you looking at their bills? Because I have proof, tangible proof, that an attorney actually charged us because he was talking to someone else, and he put it in our bill and charged us for talking to some other person. And they charged it on our bills, and I looked at it and I highlighted it and I go, what the heck is this little bill doing? What's this item here? What's it on my bill? What's this doing here? I was like, that's not my name. Why are you charging me for talking to them the other day? Oops. It's because I'm like, I want to check it, and I find stuff like that. But are you all checking to see if what they're charging you is really, really what they're doing? They're working about talking on the phone about your stuff? Are they? They weren't to charge us for other stuff. Anyway, so, and I have the evidence to prove it. So I'm not just talking. Now, let's see. So John Rutledge, a signer of the U.S. Constitution at the Constitutional Convention, remarked that, open quote, in regard to particular law books, Coke's institutes seem to be almost the foundation of our law. This is John Rutledge contemplating Coke's institutes and saying, wow. And I'm like paraphrasing here. Wow, that almost seems like the foundation of our law, huh? It does seem that way to me, like if it's our foundation of our law. Wowee, this guy really knows what he's writing. Well, the real quote is, in regard to particular law books, Coke's institutes seem to be almost the foundation of our law, close quote. And that's my interpretation, that he was like, wow, this is pretty good stuff here. A brief examination of the earlier case reports of England and America will readily show the importance which was attached to the acknowledged maxims of law. Maxims were continually relied upon to settle matters dealing with wills, inheritance, land, economics, crime, marriage, property, contracts, rights, and virtually every aspect of law and jurisprudence that would arise. That's a lot of stuff that it's handling, isn't it? I mean, it's like covering all sorts of things. Seriously? Wow. Let me see what it is. Live. Close that off there. That's a lot of stuff. It's dealing with rights, contracts, marriage, crime, law, property, economics, wills, inheritance. Oh my gosh. Maxims deal in all of those subjects? They use them for all of that. Okay. I like to hear that. If one fails to understand the fundamental principles of law, then there is no end to which he can be misled or deceived about what is right and what is wrong. Okay? If one fails to understand the fundamental principles of law, the rules of the game, if you fail to understand the fundamental principles of law, then there's no end to which he can be misled, deceived about what is right and what is wrong. You're going to be misled, like you're driving, and you drive the car this way and you drive the car that way, you turn and turn. You could be led anywhere because you don't know. They could take you anywhere. They could laugh and just take you anywhere. You don't know that they're wrong. Terrible. All because you don't know this skinny little book that you could learn. Seriously, this skinny little book. That you learn that, and the Constitution there, that's even skinnier. It's a little bit of stuff, and we can work. And you know what? You have to really read it and reread it and think about it and everything. And it helps to have Dave Jose explain a lot of things and get us on the right path, because there's some stuff that's so unfamiliar. We need a bit of help, quite a bit of help. And thanks to God, thank you, Lord, Dave Jose is on his way. Dave Jose came to the rescue, and he is teaching us. He teaches us things, and you know what? He even invites attorneys to talk about what he's saying and prove that he is mistaken, that he is wrong, and they won't come on. So far, only 2 dared to talk, and they never wanted to do it again. And they ran out of there. They didn't want to do it again because they look so unaware. They look so unlearned. They look so unstudied. They look like they didn't take a day 1 class on the law. That's what they looked like. It looked terrible. A professor of sorts. Anyway, I better not even go there because they might say, "Ooh, you're talking about some sort of professor." Well, I didn't say his name, so don't tell me about that, because I didn't say the professor's name. It could have been a girl's professor. It could have been girl. It could be girl professor. Anyway, you come and you figure this out. You learn for yourself. A challenge is still out. If anybody wants to talk to Dave Jose, come and talk to Dave Jose and prove your side. Prove your side. Prove that we, the people, do not have the right to alter, reform, and abolish. Prove that we don't have the right to redress our grievances. Prove it. Prove that we don't have rights that are above all, and the whole government was instituted by the people for our benefit, not for the benefit of the government worker. And they cannot be calling themselves leaders because they're not the leader of the people. The people are the leaders of the government. And also prove that I'm wrong. Show it. You know why I think that a lot of attorneys don't want to speak and talk with him? Because when people listen and watch, they have their own minds and they can see right through the arguments, and they can decipher for themselves what is true, what they believe, based on what they are presented with. So I think that's why they don't want to show up, because I think they're not being taught. They do it. They say themselves, they have some attorneys that are constitutional attorneys. Shouldn't they all be constitutional attorneys and know the constitutions? Because that's it. Did you know that even the bar members swore to support, defend, whatever? They swore some sort of oath. They did some kind of oath about the constitutions, and to the best of their ability, so they can have an backdoor escape. To the best of their ability. Well, I'm sorry, I tried my best, but I didn't have the best of my ability that day. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I didn't drink my coffee, and I couldn't remember the constitutions that day. So that's why you got all fouled up. That's why you lost all your stuff, because I couldn't remember the constitutions that day. Even though I swore that oath. Sorry. Goodbye. Go cry on your pillow over there. All right. They should all be constitutional attorneys and not infringe on the people's rights. And the government workers that are helping them by aiding them, abetting, calling them, only those that are doing wrong. I'm not talking about the good ones. The good ones are good ones, right? The good government workers are good, The bad government works are bad. There's some good and some bad. Just like any place. And the attorneys, there's some good and there's some bad ones. But the bad ones I'm talking about, that work together with the bad government servants, and they go ahead and even, I forgot they had constitutional rights. I didn't remember they had constitutional rights, and we let them believe that they lost their home, that they lost their car, and even though we didn't really give them a trial by jury, and we put them in, some people we put in jail even without a trial by jury, with a jury of their peers, just the judge, and we took their kids with no trial by jury with just the judge. And I know it's not constitutional, but I have an excuse. I didn't drink coffee that morning. I forgot. But I did it to the best of my ability. So I'm still safe, right? Because I swore the oath. I did the oath, but I said to the best of my ability. And that morning I didn't have the ability because I had no caffeine that morning. If one fails to understand, and I'm reading the preface, let me go back to the preface. Sorry, I get excited about these other things too. Back to the preface. If one fails to understand the fundamental principles of law, then there is no end to which he can be misled or deceived about what is right and what is wrong. Such a person could easily become subject to government encroachments or be maneuvered into surrendering his rights. He can be maneuvered into surrendering his rights? For example, if you don't know you have a right to have a trial by jury and it shouldn't cost you anything, because the Constitution says it, seeking justice should be without purchase, without sale, freely, completely, quickly, all these good words. All right, and if you don't know that and you go and you are there and there's a judge, but there's no trial by jury, there's no jury of your peers, and you're trembling in your seat, and the judge is there and he's going to render his order, and he's going to take your property, whatever your property is, without a trial by jury, but you don't know that there's supposed to be a trial by jury, and you don't know that the judge is under oath at all times to defend your rights. You don't know that he's under oath to defend your rights, to stand up quickly. Say, wait a minute, halt, stop everything. There's no trial by jury here. That's unconstitutional. I will not have it. I'm going to defend their rights. You cannot take their child. You cannot take their dog. You cannot put them in jail for parking tickets. You cannot take their homes. You cannot take their money without a trial by jury. Does a judge, have you ever seen a judge do that? Because they're supposed to defend your rights quickly, with lots of gusto, with lots of energy, defend it diligently, fully. But if you don't know that you don't have that, you have that right, oh my goodness, then such a person could easily become subject to government encroachments or be maneuvered into surrendering his rights. Did you have to surrender your rights? Did you have to surrender? Did they make you pay child support? Because you may have a big old beating heart, and the child may, you know, it's good for the child to get to have food and all this, and that's the mom and dad, but they're taking it away from the mom and dad, either giving it to one parent or the other parent, or to a foster place or whatever. They're taking it away. Did they do it with a trial by jury, with the jury of your peers? If they didn't do it and the judge sat there and allowed it to happen, that is not obeying their oath. They have to defend your rights at all time, and they're your counselors. They should counsel you that, oh, you're being rammed. There's a big old rod coming your way. Look out. Whatever you do, don't bend over. I'm trying to tell you, they're trying to ram you. Don't do it. They're going to take your kid without a trial by jury. Don't let it happen. Do they do that, or do they help it to happen? Do they help you lose your child? If they're in family court and it's not a court of record and there's a judge there and you think that they're acting constitutionally and yet you see no trial, there's no jury, there's no trial by jury, and they give an order, that is not constitutional. That order is void because they did it without a trial by jury. They took your child without a trial by jury. They took your car without a trial by jury. They took your money without a trial by jury. They took your dog without a trial by jury. They took your cat without a trial by jury. They took your time. They put you in jail without a trial by jury, or jury trial. So, hold on. I'm going to have to stop right here. Let's see. No, yes, I have to take this call because it's really important. So I love you guys. I'm going to continue in reading it in part 2. Okay, so hold on. Let me stop this recording. I love you guys. All the good, loving American people. God love you. Hold on.